Good morning, good day, and good evening. I'm as always your host, Brody Robertson, and today we have another VTuber on the show. I'll let you introduce yourself because you wanted to do so.
Hi, Stotsu! I'm Veni Okojo. I am a character action and action RPG streamer. I stream at 4 p.m. PST, Friday, Tuesday, and I am also an Arch Linux user, by the way.
Yeah, that's a problem. we can't have that. No Arch users here.
You're Gen 2 based users only.
Look. What we got to do is we got to just switch to BSD. That's the real plan.
But which one? Free BSD, Open BSD, Net BSD,
Not Net
Dragonfly BSD.
Yeah, I think we can. I reckon what FreeBSD. FreeBSD is probably the best option to go with. I think they've got like the Wayland support all figured out, so they're probably the best ones to go with. The other ones are still like doing their thing over there.
You still don't have game support though. I don't think it runs Proton, does it?
I don't. FreeBSD. I'm gonna say no. Steam...
I looked this up like a month ago because I was curious.
Proton exists on FreeBSD. Okay, I didn't think it did. Okay, apparently as of last year it exists on FreeBSD. Sure.
Interesting.
How well it works, I got no idea. I'm not a FreeBSD user. I'm sure they're going to be in the comment section telling me how great FreeBSD is. I'm not going to do that though. I'm good on Arch Linux.
Yeah, same here. I think we're in pretty much the exact same system, Arch, KDE, Wayland, right?
Yeah, for now. I am definitely considering moving off of KDE within the next couple of months. I don't know if I've mentioned to you, but I definitely have recorded it. Cosmic is supposed to be like full release by like Q1 next year, so hopefully by then it's mostly ironed out. I expect there to be problems still, because there's always going to be problems. As soon as they have like a Pop! OS release with Cosmic, you're going to have a situation where, you know, a lot more users are actually testing it out. There's going to be weird edge cases people try to discover, but at least on like my system, it's pretty rock solid. The only issue I have is shit's missing, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna try out Cosmic as well and see if it's any good, but like, if it's just not my thing, I'll just stick to KDE. It's just what I know, you know?
Right. That's totally fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with KDE. Like, it's a really good desktop. It's got its weird legacy issues, especially... There's a lot of issues that get masked by modern hardware, and it's... You know, like, there's just random things where it's just, oh, let's just smash the drive cache because everyone's got an SSD now, so they're not going to notice it. Like, dumb things like that. Or the way that
Didn't you tell me about that on stream one time?
Probably. I've ranted about it so many times.
I think I did that myself, and it took like 2 gigs off, and I'm like, wow, great fix, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, this is 2 separate things. No, so there is the Baloo indexing where things are really slow.
That's what I'm thinking of.
And the other one, this is one they already fixed a while back, where every time you use a desktop effect, so if you open up the tiling editor, you opened up like the logout screen, it would lock up the entire system because they weren't caching anything to RAM. Everything was being loaded from a drive cache. And if your drive cache was on a mechanical hard drive, it loaded fairly slowly. And it waited until it loaded until anything else happened.
Jesus Christ.
This is what happens when you have a 30-year-old desktop. There's going to be some weird design decisions that no one really thought about.
It's your desktop I'll live and die by, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, like GNOME has these same problems. Well, not the same problems. They have like similar issues. It's also a 30-year-old desktop, but I don't use GNOME.
GNOME's just bad, alright? I've tried using GNOME, and we'll probably get into my history of Linux in a bit, but like, GNOME's just bad. I just don't like
it. Well, I guess that's a perfect segue. Why are you on Linux, firstly? And how did you make your way to Arch?
Okay, this is gonna be a long one that I'll probably talk about again on Friday. So my history with Linux was I've always been like a Windows user since I was like super duper young or whatever. I think I grew up with like a Windows XP system when I was like 3 or something. But I remember the first time I ever saw Linux was probably around like 2006, 2007. So like
Okay.
around a few years after Ubuntu came out. I saw some kid in our little computer lab being like, "Hey, check this out." Loads Ubuntu onto a computer, and I was like, "What is this? This is not a Windows." So we got to test that out a little bit. It was really fun. It was using like GNOME 2, I think. I looked at some like the legacy versions of Ubuntu. It was a version of Ubuntu, probably like 6.04 or something. So I didn't really hear about Ubuntu after that. But like years and years later, when I was in high school, or one of my first high schools, because I kind of shifted around a little bit, one of my computer teachers was really into Linux as well. So I got to try stuff like Ubuntu, Xubuntu, stuff like that. And I actually daily drove Xubuntu for like a year or two on like my shitty laptop. And I just kind of fell off of that because like there wasn't game support. It was also a shitty laptop, so there wasn't game anyway. If I wanted to play anything, it kind of sucked. I just kind of stuck to Windows for a bit. But then, like, probably around like 2020, 2021, I had a former friend of mine really like Manjaro. And this was right
Is that why they're
during the
your
middle
former
of
friend?
like, no, different reasons, but we tried Manjaro. He did not like it after a bit because he said it was like OSR, which I completely agree because it's the same thing for me as well. We just kind of didn't really like it. I knew about EndeavorOS. I tried EndeavorOS, but it was mostly on my laptop, like my gaming laptop that I have now. It was kind of just that for a little bit. But the funny thing is, 2 months ago, I was trying to run Kingdom Hearts Reach in Memory, specifically the Riku Reverse Rebirth campaign. We'll probably talk about Kingdom Hearts a little bit on this podcast, I'm betting. But I really wanted to run it because I had a stream that day. And, oh no, I had a stream like in a few days. I think it was just like on my off day. It could not run. And I was like, I tried every fix. I tried verifying the integrity of the files. I tried reinstalling the game. I tried everything. I had two options. One, I could upgrade to Windows 11 and just
Upgrade.
with regret for the rest of my life. Two, I took an Arch USB stick, I put it into my PC, I installed Arch. And it worked. It worked perfectly. I had dabbled with Arch a little bit before. Like, it was right around when the Arch install script like was out again-ish, because it was out like years before. I tried that. Seemed to work pretty well, so just put on my main PC. Had a bit of issues here and there, but I fixed them and everything, and I'm rock solid on Arch. Like, it's a really good system. Like, I could have just did what Kylo did and just used, like, you know, Mint or Pop OS or whatever, but I am someone that doesn't want to just VTube and just game or do whatever on, like, the bare minimum, like, distros stuff is just all set up. I'm someone that is very much into, like, rolling releases, getting the most out of my tech, and the latest updates and everything, and Arch was just that. It's the rolling release distro. So, like, I like it. It's good. You know, I have issues here and there, yeah, but, like, I think I'm technical enough to where I can just solve them. Except the Btrfs issue. I installed Arch with Btrfs, and I still can't get that working.
What do you mean you can't get it working?
So, I think it was something in the Arch install script where, like, I think I disabled some feature or something. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just an issue with, like, how I'm trying to set up it. Because, like, I wanted to set it up with, like, the snapshots, the automatic snapshots. And it just could not work, you know? So I'm just like, screw it. Just leave it off for now. If my Arch system breaks, I'll just use ext4 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just on ext4 myself. I should have better solutions for things. People have told me to use Btrfs for quite a while now. I just haven't gotten around to messing with it.
Also, Bcachefs, but that's probably going to be removed from the kernel any day now.
I don't know. There's like, with something that's already been mainlined, it's really difficult to remove it if it has users. What's what's honestly more likely, from what I've been hearing from other kernel developers, is it's gonna sit there, and then they're just not going to accept patches from the developer, and kind of like let it sort of fade out, and then after like a couple of years, then pull it. Because, you know, there are users right now who are using it in production when they shouldn't, because very experimental file system, because it's in the mainline kernel. So pulling it would be like, you know, don't break user space sort of situation where I understand why it would be a difficult choice to get rid of it. I honestly think it should stay around just because it's fun and how just stupid the conversations are. But I can understand why there is definitely a desire to do something about it, because the developer is just... Yeah.
He's hard to work with. I've seen that.
It's not just in the kernel as well. Even in the project itself, he is hard to work with. Like in like the Bcachefs project, there are people who've just tried to submit patches and kind of just don't want to deal with him. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you convert people to Btrfs devs.
Yeah. Well, we live in this world where there's not just one file system. Like, there are all these other file systems that exist. Like, why? Maybe Bcachefs will be great long term into the future, but like, that's not where we are now. Right now, it's very experimental. It needs constant patching to like not be useless. So you don't really get to throw your weight around when you're the new guy on the block. That's not how that works.
It's really ironic because the guy was like, this is the cow file system that doesn't eat your data, and then it crashes a lot, and Btrfs is just solid. I've never heard anyone who said that, besides like my kind of personal experience. That's more of just a me thing, a skill issue, you could say, that Btrfs is bad and it crashes. I've heard no one say that, except this guy.
There are a few people in my comments who've mentioned some issues with snapshots not working consistently, but until the discussion about Bcachefs, I had not heard anybody talk about this. And like I have been around a lot of people that have very strong opinions about the tech they use, and not a single person has ever brought up Btrfs like breaking your data. Maybe there's like some weird, with one exception, sorry. In RAID 5 and 6, there are issues. Anything else, it seems to be rock solid.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
But I don't use RAID 5 or 6, so like, it's, you know, I don't use RAID anymore.
I don't know how to set up RAID in general. I should probably learn that sometime.
Probably not a bad idea.
I know Windows kind of automates that process, but like what I want to do, and I kind of have to set up in my PC where I have like a 4 terabyte like NAS drive. I want to get like 2 more of those and just do a 16 terabyte RAID setup or whatever. But I don't know how to set that up.
There is an Arch wiki page on how to do RAID.
RTFM, they would say, you know.
Or you could just go to YouTube and like, how RAID.
It's also how I'm probably going to learn Hyperland. It's like, how to Hyperland. Oh, there it is. I actually found a video that was like, here's how you set it up. And I'm like, okay.
So when you installed Arch, you went through the Arch install script, yes?
Yes.
So I've only done that a couple of times. What did you end up choosing as your desktop when you did that? Was that when you chose KDE?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you actually... Is it like a full KDE setup when you install it through the Arch install script?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the full KDE desktop.
So, what has that experience been like on KDE? Like, now that you're using it full-time, and now that you're using it not in 2006.
Well, I didn't use KDE in 2006.
Well, like, you're using the Linux desktop not in 2006.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really solid. It's kind of Windows-like without being like Cinnamon, you know. It has a lot of features that I like about it. I really like a lot of the like KDE apps that kind of you install separate, like Kden Live and like what's the screenshot tool called?
Oh, the screenshot tool.
Yeah. Let me look at it. I can just go screenshot.
Not Kprint.
Spectacle. That's
that one.
Yes.
I
like Spectacle a lot. I think it was actually you who told me when I was like trying to use Wayland full time that like Don't use Flame Shot. Flame doesn't work on Wayland. Use Spectacle, and I'm like, okay, and it works really good.
Flame Shot's in like a weird. I think they say they support Wayland, and technically it does. It's just really wonky. I've had issues
I also have a
where it just like doesn't open.
Yeah, I also have like a vertical monitor. So I have like my main monitor, and then on the right I have a vertical monitor for like my Discord, OBS, Twitch chat, all of that. And I know that a lot of setups don't like that. I know Cosmic. Does Cosmic still have issues with like vertical monitors?
Yes. Yes. Okay, so they have one person on the team who uses vertical monitors. They are very aware that vertical monitors are very problematic. They haven't fixed it yet because there are other things that take priority over that. Most people are not using vertical monitors, so it's something they can kind of just ignore for a bit. They know they need to fix it though, and it's going to be fixed hopefully by the next alpha. Maybe the alpha after that, but soon-ish. Because it also affects screen capture as well, not just screenshotting.
Yeah, like that's probably the main blocker I would have with going to like a new desktop like Cosmic is like, does my vertical monitor work? Because I had issues with AE Wayland a little bit. I think I had installed some sort of like extra driver or something. Like it works now. It's just a little bit of effort putting into it. But I hope there's this thing with Cosmic. I hope it just automatically does it because like they say it's gonna do stuff with the applets and everything, and I'm hoping that works. You know?
Hopefully, yeah, like. My setup is pretty simple, so like most of the issues that I have with Cosmic right now are like the way things feel as opposed to just core functionality being missing. Like the core desktop is there, but I don't like the way that certain parts of the window management feel or window focus feel. Once that stuff gets resolved, I'm pretty much good. Like I don't really care that there's not as much customization as KDE. I'm not a big, like, ricer. I don't really care about doing theming. I like a little bit of stuff as long as I can change, like, window border colors and window border sizes. But for the most part, I'm already pretty happy with it. KDE can be, like, kind of overwhelming initially with, like, how many things you can change.
Yeah, I'm someone that kind of runs the default when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like, obviously, like, switch to dark mode immediately, but, like, besides that, I'm pretty much someone that just kind of runs the default. I'm not really someone that is into Rices as much. Like, there's a reason why I'm not using Hyperland right now is because with ADE just kind of has everything I need just right there, and I have to go to a config file and set things up, and it's just there and it's ready, which is ironic because I use the distro that is not that you have to set up everything. But the desktop environment itself is like something where I just don't want to think about it. Just run it. Okay, does it run? Okay, we're good. I don't want to have to configure stuff even more, especially if I'm like, if I installed Hyperland as soon as I got Arch Linux installed, I would not be able to stream for a few more days because I have to set up everything, you know? But now that I have like a rock solid install, then I can branch out and be like, okay, do I want a window manager? Probably not like KDE more. Do I want to get Cosmic? Do I want to do all these things? Because I have like a steady base, I can now do random bullshit, you know what I mean?
Well, that's actually kind of how I was when I first switched to Linux. I swapped straight to i3. So i3, its config is very, very bare. It's like enough to open a launcher, enough to like go between workspaces and move windows around. That's it. You don't have a wallpaper, so you just have like complete. If you don't have a bar set up, you have a completely black screen, which is a good start. I knew what I was getting into, so it wasn't as big of a deal, but it did take me a little bit to get things to a point where it was comfortable to use. And if you need something working immediately, unless you're downloading an existing config file, a window manager is just not really the place for that. Unless you know exactly like how to configure it and like you sort of already know what to do with it.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I like Hyperland. Hyperland's fun, but like I wouldn't recommend Hyperland to someone who is just starting out trying to work out like what they want from Linux. I would probably just put them on KDE or GNOME, probably KDE.
Yeah.
Maybe Cinnamon.
Yeah, put them on like Mint with Cinnamon or Pop! OS with GNOME, soon to be Cosmic.
Yes.
Distros, on the other hand, like, I don't really know what exactly to really give someone, because like there are certain issues with like beginner distros that have their own faults. There is no perfect entry level distro, because like Linux Mint exists, but Linux Mint has some issues with flat packs and just management and stuff like that. We have Pop! OS. Pop! OS doesn't have Cosmic yet. That's literally it. It's still using GNOME. I don't want to recommend GNOME. We have Nobara, and I do like Nobara. I tried it on my laptop. I even had a stream. That means on Nobara on my laptop. I don't like how they're handling the package manager. When I use KDE, one of the reasons I love KDE is they have the Discover app, where it's an app store, basically. You can connect FlatHub to install anything you want on the graphical user interface.
Right.
When you use the Nobara-themed KDE install, the official install, it doesn't get included because, according to Rogue Ren, it apparently like screws up some like dependencies with Discover or whatever, like the repos. You use the package manager, the Nobara package manager, and my god, it's really confusingly designed. It's just a list of things. There's no nice front end of things. It's just, here's a list, figure it out, and that's not really intuitive for me, you know.
It's a package called YumX. They've renamed it to Nobara Package Manager, but it's actually called YumX.
Yeah, I didn't mean like the Pac-Man equivalent. I mean like the App Store equivalent, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay. I see. Wait. Actually, I might be kind of confused. Hold up. So, there's a thing on Nobara called the Nobara Package Manager.
Yes.
That is a renamed version of YumX.
Okay.
Which is a there's like 4 different packages. Okay, this is confusing. Like, there's a bunch of different forks of YumX. This project has been around for a long time. I'm not even sure what they're shipping.
You probably just put in a VM and find out for yourself.
I could do that. I'm not going to do it right now.
Yeah, of course.
It seems to be some sort of just general package manager GUI, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I don't think that's really good for like beginners. I think a beginner distro should like have something that's like, dare I say, something that's a little bit more Windows, Mac OS like in terms of like intuitive. It's not like literal design, you know, where it's like, here is a nice GUI for this, here's a nice GUI for that.
Right.
And then present the options of like, hey, if you want to get a little more technical, here's the terminal, you know.
Well, yeah,
like a good beginner distro has to have a balance of like GUIs and then have an option to branch out into more terminal-based stuff. It shouldn't just be all GUI or all terminal for a beginner. Well, now, for someone like me, who's used Linux for a little bit now, I can use terminal whenever I want. I can use GUIs whenever I want. I'm more free-form. But as someone like a grandma user who's like, I don't know how to use a computer, then you'd probably want to give them like Ubuntu or something.
Sure.
Mint.
From what I'm seeing with like YumX here, it's basically like, it's effectively a terminal application, but it's a GUI. It's just a big list of applications.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's,
There's no Discover app equivalent, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I've never really used one of the, like, the GUI app installers actively. I've always just done things with Pac-Man, but I can understand the value in it for someone who, you know, wants something a bit more user-friendly from the start. I've always just, like, I switched to Linux when I was going through a programming degree. So it's kind of like, I'm in the mindset of doing things with the terminal anyway.
That's one of the reasons why I probably won't ever switch from Arch to something else. I know one of your viewers, 8-Bit Bang, is wanting to teach me NixOS. That's going to be interesting. But I like Arch a lot. You're probably thinking, I have to do that NixOS video in 2 years.
Yeah, I've been saying that for about 2 years already. Maybe more. Maybe we're at 4.
to be 2028 when we get the NixOS video.
One day it might happen. I'm not making any promises about it.
Right. One of the reasons why I won't switch, most likely, because, you know, I could use NixOS or I could use whatever, why I wouldn't switch to anything besides Arch is because I'm so used to, like, Arch Package Manager Pac-Man. I'm so used to getting Yay on my system and using the AUR and everything. A lot of, like, that sort of thing is, I'm so comfortable with it that I can't really switch to anything else. Like, if I use, like, Mint, I'm like, apt! I haven't used that in a decade, what? Or, like, Fedora / Nobar, RPM, what? What is this? You know, I like my Pac-Man. I like my Yay AUR. It's just, it's something I'm comfortable with. It's really funny because, like, that's, like, one of the most advanced, you know, packages, says, like, you know, Portmanteau from Gen 2 or whatever.
Portmanteau.
What was it called?
Most people call it portage or
portage. That's what it's called.
I don't know what the actual pronunciation
every
is.
comment on this video is going to be Portmanteau.
Portmanteau.
How do they make the Joe poor?
I don't think I've seen anyone pronounce it that badly before. That's actually impressive.
I don't know. Stoat brain make me go, what is a word?
Yeah, that's the Australian brain in me as well.
The urge to just say any Australian word just now. Too easy.
Too easy.
I remember when we were in a VC like a few days ago, I remember I was something like, oh yeah, I'm about to go on a Macca's run, and you were like, Veni, it's Macca's. Like, I'll smack ya. And I'm like, God damn it. And then I fucking tweeted, I'm going on a Macca's run. Does anyone want anything? You said, get me a frozen Coke. And I was like, sure, I'll get you a snag too. And you were like, Veni, snags are not hot dogs.
Yeah. Look, also, you're not going to get a snag from a Macca's anyway.
You get a snag from, like, what did you say, like charity events or something?
Yeah, you can go to get one from Bunnings for the charity stuff they're doing there, or you can get a democracy sausage.
Yeah, that's when you vote. You get a democracy sausage.
Yeah.
My God. I will go over to Australia and I will ruin your culture.
Oh, don't worry. It's already a bit of a mess. It's gonna take you a bit to catch up to know what you can ruin in the first place.
Yeah, how many times does someone come up to you and be like, "Oh, you Australian? Do you know about the emu wars?"
Yeah, people like to bring that one up. They really like to bring up the emu wars.
It's such a low-hanging fruit, though. To be honest, that's why I don't really say it, because it's like you probably heard it like a cajillion times.
Well, there's also the dingo fence.
Oh no, what is that?
We built a fence. It's kind of like the Great Wall of China, right? Where they built a big wall but didn't ever finish it, so you can just go around it.
Huge.
That's the dingo fence. Also, dingoes like to dig holes, so they just go under it.
Americans also have weird stuff as well, but like it's funny when we're like, wait, you have weird things too? Let's go make fun of it for 30 years.
Oh, we have a lot of really weird things that most people have no idea about that will scare a lot of Americans. There's a lot of street names, a lot of
Tell me some.
A lot of well, okay. There's one in I forgot where it is now. Give me a second. I think it's rural South Australia. Let me just check. Where is that? Oh no, it's New South Wales. So in New South Wales, there is a road called Chinaman's Lane. There's currently a vote to rename it.
Go ahead. What is China doing in Australia?
Oh, there's another one called Chinaman's Road.
Why are Chinamen in Australia? What?
Look,
that doesn't make any sense.
Here's one that it isn't getting renamed. It kind of just it just is. There's a place called Iron Knob. There's a lot of
who came up with that.
Well, it was a mining town. They found iron there. I don't know why the knob part's there, but it's Iron Knob.
Well, that's what we call a miner back then. Oh, you iron knob.
Let me.
And they're like, sure, what did the town that?
Funny place names Australia. Let's just find a list. Ah, here we go. So we got Cockburn, Useless Loop,
Yeah.
Bastard Point.
That's
What
not
else?
bad.
What's another fun one we have here? Eggs and Bacon Bay,
What?
Sauce Bottle Swamp,
Okay.
Quality Knob.
Quality knob. So we got iron knob and we got quality knob.
Prominent Knob,
Prominent knob. That's the mayor.
Boobs Flat,
It's me.
The End of the World,
Kingdom Hearts in my Australia?
Bum Cooler Flat.
Okay.
Oh, here's another one. Spanker Knob,
So many knobs.
Cockwash Creek, Pisspot Creek.
Oh my god.
This is just this list. There's a ton of others. Some of these are like official names. Most of these are official names. Others are just things that have like stuck as a
On, DM me this. I'll talk about this on Going Kremlin on Friday.
Just look up funny place names Australia and you'll find so many lists of it.
We'll take a look at some then. My god. I think the biggest one, not just Australia, but like in the world, the funniest name. Have you heard of like, I think it's called Poo Poo Hill to Pee Pee Creek or something?
No, I'm not. I've not heard of this one.
Hold on, let me see if I can find this. It's like
Poo Poo
hilarious.
Point Trail?
Yeah, Poo Poo Point to Pee Pee Creek.
Pee Pee. Pee Pee.
It's from
Fucking Ohio.
Pee Pee Creek's in Ohio. Poo Poo Trail is near Vancouver.
Washington is what I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
But look, there might be another one. There's a lot of a lot of places people have just named a very long time ago. They just kind of stuck as a name, and no one bothered to like do anything about it.
I guess Knob was a big name back then because there's so many street named Knob.
Honestly, I don't know. Well, a lot of street names are based on like people in that area. Like my stepdad, he has a road named after his family, and that's pretty common. I don't know if Knob was a surname that was common at one point, and that's how that happened. It's possible. I don't know.
It was just an insult someone threw at an important guy and like, fuck it, what do you mean entire place this? Like Iron Knob.
This one is one. This one is one that's not intended to be funny, but it is very funny. There is a place in Queensland called Errormonger.
What?
Era
manga, not Arrow manga.
No, Eromanga. Errormonger.
Arrow manga. My god.
It is another mining town. It's based on the Aboriginal word that means hot gale plain or windy plain. It just happens to also sound very much like Errormonger.
I don't know about you, but I don't want those miners getting in my Arrow manga.
The Wikipedia page for this actually has a section for popular culture references to this place.
Oh my god.
Both Samurai from Flamenco and Eromanga Sensei make mention of this place at one point.
Jesus. You have weird names, I swear to God.
Yeah, it happens. It definitely happens.
But we have Poo Poo Creek or whatever, so.
Yeah, very, very tame names compared to what we have here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm dying. Ugh.
Arch sickness.
Arch sickness? Yeah, that's what it
I
is.
have the arch sickness too, don't worry. It just makes you go, I use Arch, by the way.
Yeah, people like to see. People actually like to take this as a serious thing that people actually do this. They're like, haha.
One does it seriously.
Arch users actually, they go around saying Arch, but like, this is an internet meme. Like, it's stop taking things too seriously. It's a joke.
Well, you know what distro does do that, unironically?
NixOS. Yeah.
Every time, I swear to God, every time it's a NixOS in a YouTube video, oh, I use NixOS, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, NixOS users are like Brazilians. Anytime you mention that it exists, nothing but comments about NixOS.
Greetings from Brazil,
Yeah,
5,000 times.
And hey, that's great. Like, they clearly, like, this is why esports works really well in places like Brazil. They are very happy that they live in Brazil.
Well, keep in mind, I'm like a fighting game head, and like a lot of the
right.
people who play stuff like Street Fighter Third Strike and King of Fighters and everything, a lot of you are Brazilians.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm gonna tell you a little fun fact. So,
Okay.
did you know that Brazil has actually kept really old consoles alive? So there's a company called Tech Toys that has made new releases for the Sega Master System.
Okay.
It's TECTOYS. They've made like a bunch of ports of like Game Gear games to Master System. They just make brand new Master System games. At least they do the same thing for like NES stuff as well. Because Brazilian culture in terms of video games is they aren't ones that like to throw away old systems like what the rest of the world does. If they have a working system, they're gonna keep playing it, basically.
Right.
It's really funny how, like, if I'm looking up, like, oh, I want to play a Sonic Game Gear game. Oh, it's a Master System version. It's made in Brazil. Like, 99% of the time.
Huh. I knew there was definitely like a big fighting game scene there. I was not aware of that part though.
Yeah, Brazil is just fucking built differently. They like to do weird shit with their old consoles.
Well, yeah, like if you go to Japan as well, they have a lot of really high quality old consoles available. Obviously, it's not like new stuff being made, but like secondhand high quality devices. Here, good luck finding something that's not, hey, you want to spend $600 on a PS2? It's like, no, I don't want to do that actually.
Speaking of PS2, I'm very glad that I bought my PS2 when I did, because I paid like 60 or 70 for it. It was a fat PS2, like the best one. And I was in a bidding war with someone over that, and I remember like 2 minutes left, and I'm just like, oh, has he done anything? Okay, put a number, and I did. At the last second, I did, and now I'm streaming PS2 games, like on actual hardware. It's nice. I actually got like a fucking pound cable for my PS2, which basically takes like. Okay, so when I stream PS2 games before, I use an adapter called a Kaiko, and that takes the component output, which is a decent video output, and turns it into HDMI, and it worked.
Okay.
Right? And then it broke. I don't know how, but it broke. So I was like, okay, what do I have left? Oh, pound cable? I was going to do that anyway, so I got that. That actually takes the RGB signal, which is the best native signal from a PS2, and output to HDMI. So that's how I'm going to be playing stuff like Nine for Christmas Oogie's Revenge, the game I showed you on stream one time. I'll be playing that on stream at the end of the month. I'll be doing some like other PS2 stuff as well from actual hardware, because I like that stuff. Any other console, I'm like, I'll emulate it. The PS2 was the first like the first console with the first game I ever like fully played was just Kingdom Hearts 2. That is sort of like really integral to why I like video games now, and I want to like pay respect to the PS2. So I got a real PS2 and I stream PS2 stuff because it's my favorite retro console, But it's a really good cable. Like I know they make other stuff for like Genesis, N64, Dreamcast. I'll probably get some of those eventually because I have like a Dreamcast and N64, a Genesis, stuff like that. I bought a Genesis that was like one of the better models that has like high definition graphics on like the little front that actually outputs better audio and video or something like that. I haven't really looked into it too much, but I know like if it says high definition video, you have a better model. I also had, this is my biggest regret when collecting retro games. I had a Sega CD, but not just any Sega CD. It was a Model 1 Sega CD, where it actually had a working disk drive, and you could like press a button and it just opens like a PC disk drive. I gave that away to a friend that I no longer talk to. I will never get that back. And anytime I look up that Sega CD Model 1 on eBay, ludicrous prices. I regret that even to this day. I really want a Sega CD again.
Let's see. Sega CD Model 1. Oh, okay, no, it's showing you Model 2s. They're already really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sega CDs, even the Model 2s are like kind of fucky in prices.
Model 600. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I can see your problem.
Yeah. But it has a working disk drive, so we gotta charge it like $400 more than what it actually is.
I've never really been one to like really care about playing on hardware. The exception to that is when it's some weird hardware device where it's kind of hard to emulate it well. Like some DS games are kind of wonky to play. You can make do with like a drawing tablet, right? It's just not perfect. But for anything else, when it's just it's effectively just a PC in a weird box, I'm more than happy to play it on emulated. I know some people like also playing on classic TVs as well. I don't really get that.
What's classic TVs? What's classic TVs?
Like they liked playing on
like CRTs?
Yeah, on like CRTs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been thinking about getting a CRT for a bit, but it's not like a top priority thing, you know? Like, I agree with you on like most stuff that if I want to play a retro game, I'll just emulate it. But there are some stuff, like if I have a PS2 and it just works and I have an output, yeah, I'll play that. Unless it's like Hack, which is expensive, or Xenosaga, which is expensive. I have the first episode of Xenosaga, and I think I spent like 40 on it. Xenosaga 2 is like $200. Xenosaga 3 is like $400. It's awful. Hack, you start off with like episode 1 of Hack with like $30. Episode 2, 60. Episode 3, 90. Episode 4 is like $200. And I'm like, I'd rather just emulate that, you know?
Well, the other thing for me is I'm not a purist when it comes to playing the game. Like, I want to upscale the game. I want to upscale it to 4K and make everything look nice and clean. I like having save states. I really don't care about the classic way of, ooh, there's a save point over there. You got to make sure you get to the save point. It's going to be 30 minutes away. If you die, you lose an hour of progress. Yeah, no, I'm good. I was fine with that as a kid, but if there are ways to not do that, I'm gonna not do that.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. Like, a lot of GBA games just emulate now, and I use save states a lot and stuff. It's just kind of just the exception because I just like the PS2, have a working PS2. Why not just stream it on there? It's just cool. But everything else, like, I just use save states, especially with like Mario 64. I would rather not play the NSO version or the All-Stars version. I'd rather just boot up Render 96 with the updated textures and models and just run it, you know? And it just works, and it's great. Also, like, Sonic as well. There's a lot of, like, definitive version of Sonic games as well. The one that I'm thinking of is Sonic 3 Air, Angel Island Remastered. Widescreen, has, like, better audio samples for the music. It's just great. I'd rather play that over like emulating 3 and Knuckles because just a better experience. Like 99% of the time, if I want to play a game that's like old, I want to make sure I'm getting the most out of it. I'm getting the definitive mods, the quality of life features, etc. PS2 is the only exception because I like the PS2 and I have a working PS2. But everything else, yeah, emulate it, upscale it, save states, mods, all that. Just I want the most out of my experience, not what the game designers intended or whatever. I just want to play my games the way I want to, you know?
I might be more interested if like games weren't now a not just a collector's item, but like a collector's a thing they will trade around for the purpose of making money, right? Like I remember when you could buy retro games and no one cared about retro games. Like it wasn't a thing that you would buy and then try to flip it for money. It was, hey, this is an old game. Oh, look at this. I have this big collection of games. Like that's I miss that time. I really do. Where you could buy, you know, like an NES game for $10. That was nice. And like games that now go for like $100 or $200, and it's the same thing with like PS2 games now. I remember when PS2 games were really, really, really cheap because it was like it wasn't retro yet. It was like a generation or two old. But now that we're like 3 generations old, getting close to 4 generations old, you're seeing these titles that were not even rare titles. They're just, you know, titles that for whatever reason have a lot of interest behind them just getting stupid in price. And this is the main reason I emulate. I just don't want to spend the money. If I'd started earlier, I might have a different opinion on it. Or if I'd kept my collection from when I was a kid, I might have a different opinion on it. But getting into it now is really difficult.
Yeah, the only PS2 games I kept from when I was growing up was, of course, my Kingdom Hearts copies, like 1, 2, and Rechain. I kept those because those are my childhood copies. I'm hoarding them, you know, because they're really important to me. But like anything else, like, I just kind of swap them around. I know there's a generous fan who's been donating a bunch of PS2 games for me to stream. I have stuff like The Bouncer. I have Shrek 2. I have all these weird-ass games. I'm just like, okay, I'll do that. I know a friend of mine also likes the Ace Combat series, and he's been giving me like all the Ace. I played all of them like years ago, but I have like 4, 5, and 0, and those are like really good games. But I played them on hardware because, like, you know, I have them. It's here. If it's like, I don't know, what's like a really expensive game? Xenosaga 3. I was talking about that a little earlier. I'm gonna emulate it. I'm not gonna hunt down a copy, you know.
Sure.
Even if I have a working PS2, it's not the effort, you know. It's not worth it.
Right.
But if there's like a cheap PS2 game where someone wants to donate it to me, yeah, I'll fucking play it.
Sure.
Like, I won't go out of my way to, like, the only exception to this is, like, I'm thinking for, like, a subathon I'm having in a few months, I want to do, like, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out on real hardware, because I think that'll be really fun. It's not terribly expensive. It's like $30, $40 for, like, a card. It's not too expensive yet. It's gonna get there eventually. But I can get one for, like, that much and just play on actual hardware, because I can get, like, a clone console as well. Like, a lot of these, like, early consoles have cloned versions, like NES, SNES, Genesis, that sort of stuff. And I like those because, like, they're cheap and I can just get into stuff easily, especially if you have, like, games you already have. Like, just if you're just starting with, like, oh, I want to get an actual NES, I want to get a top loader. Top loaders are expensive. Like the dog bone official top loader is, like, super expensive. SNES games are so expensive now, too. Oh, my God. Earthbound prices. Have you seen Earthbound prices?
No, let's find out. Earthbound. Here we go.
Last time we charged like $600.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
How much are you seeing?
I'm not seeing that. Oh, these are the actual copy. Yes, this is the actual game. But these also, keep in mind, there's also a lot of fake copies of games going around as well now. So
you gotta type in Earthbound Authentic.
Yeah, assuming they don't fake it.
True.
I'm not seeing any crazy prices. I'm seeing around like $50 to $100, but I don't know how much of these are real.
Probably not, because, like, I know last time I checked Earthbound copies, they're, like, super duper expensive. There's a lot of repro copies. I remember I beat Earthbound using a repro copy of something called, like, Earthbound Uncensored or something, and I was like, fine. I remember I even played on a weird console. I played it on a Superboy, which is a portable SNES.
Superboy.
Superboy. SUPA boy.
I don't think I've ever heard of this. What the hell is this thing?
It was made by Hyperkin, I think. It was like a portable SNES.
Uh.
Super weird console. But I had it, and I played it, and it was good.
The fuck is this thing?
I even played like Mega Man X on it. It was really weird.
What a weird looking device.
Yeah, because I know like Genesis had an official portable version called like the Sega Nomad. I guess Hyperkin want to make their own version with the SNES or whatever, which is that's cool.
I think the weirdest thing about this is the ports on the front of it.
Yeah, that's like controller ports because you can actually plug it into the TV and use it as an actual like SNES console.
Okay, sure. Why
It's
not?
kind of disappointed of a Superboy, but if that's all you have, sure.
All right. Not something I'm gonna buy, but hey, if you
I had it, it was a thing. I will just emulate SNES games because I don't want to touch that. It's a volatile market, you know. PS2 is my comfort zone. It's getting to the point where some stuff is kind of expensive, but like it's still not too expensive, at least where I'm at. I think like probably in Australia or something, the prices are a lot different.
Well, we also our dollar is also weaker, so we have that. And obviously there's going to be less supply for a lot of things. But usually our prices are pretty much the US prices, just converted into our currency. Usually. There are some exceptions, but you can always order things online anyway. So now that we have, like, it... Sometimes it's expensive to ship things where you're like, hey, that's obviously not the shipping price. Like, well, it does not cost $200 to ship a 500-gram box. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Especially, like, I've seen some eBay listings where it's like, oh, here's a cheaper version of a game. Pay $100 shipping. That's how they get you.
Yeah.
They lure you with the cheap price at first, and then when you go to, like, look at it, it's like, oh, you're wanting $200 for shipping? Come on. For a little card or a disc?
Does anyone... Wait, I wonder if this is a thing. If it's not, someone make this a thing. Is there an extension where it's like a true price extension where it will... Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
There's stuff like, Honey can sort of do that sometimes, or there's other stuff like stuff with Amazon or whatever. I know that exists somewhere. You just have to kind of find it.
Okay. Because you could also use that for... Like, the idea I was also going to say is... Because in the US, they don't like to put taxes in the price, which is fucking weird to me.
Yeah.
Because that, like, the way we do it here is, it's not the price plus the tax. It's the price. The tax is part of the price. Like, you know, if the tax was optional, then make it a separate thing. Like, that's fine. But, like, if I have to pay it, why is it a separate number? That's stupid.
I mean, I live in a place where tax is pretty high, so, like, if I want to pay, like, $60 for, like, I don't know, Pirate Yakuza or whatever, it will probably be, like, 10 or 5 tax, and I'll be like, I'm kind of paying 70 for this now, what the fuck?
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Wait, so when people say $60 video games, that's not including the tax?
60 is the base, and then you pay like 2 to 5, maybe even 7 if you're like in California or something. Which fuck California, for tax. And it's like I want my cheap games. That's why I get keys most of the time, you know, because like at least that's cheaper.
Right. The US, you guys are weird. I don't get it.
I could say the same about Australia, dude.
Look, you are right. You are right. But at least we handle our pricing in a sensible way. It's just everything's expensive.
Every country has its weird shit. We're not the exceptions.
Yeah, you are right. You are right. I'm always just gonna bully the US about the way they do the pricing though. And the Americans
if you do that, I'll bring up the Emu Wars again.
That
or not a Macca's or a Macca's, right?
Well, here's the thing about the Emu Wars. Most Australians don't even know about that. Like, that is purely an internet thing. If you bring that up to some, like, random person in the bar, they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? They'll probably laugh at it as much as you do.
Yeah.
But yes, if you say Marcus run, that will get you jumped.
Not Marcas. You say Macas, but
Marcus?
it's Macas.
Mark. I don't think I can say that. It sounds like Marcus when I'm trying to say it.
Marcus.
Marcus
Like that
run.
one guy who was harassing you, he thought you were saying Adam or whatever, but it's Artem or whatever.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
I feel like I have more of a photographic memory on your videos than the person making the videos. So I'm like, oh yeah, I made a video about this like 6 months ago. And you're like, I did. Wait, hold on.
You brought up the Freedom Toaster, which I made a video on like a year ago. I was like, I don't. What the hell is that?
You're like, yeah, you made a video. And we're like, I did. Oh.
You don't know how many times I've sat down to plan a video, and I'm like, this sounds like a great idea, and then I search in my name video topic. I'm like, wait, shit, I did this video. There are times when will redo a video if it's like 3 or 4 years old, where I'm like, that video was bad. But if I did it like 6 months ago and I forgot about it, I'm not gonna make it again.
True. I know your overviews were kind of rough. You have really improved.
Yeah. People occasionally comment on one of them, like, "Wow, this is a really useful video." I'm like, "No, it's not. No, it's not."
This was just like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, as soon as I see the old thumbnail style, I'm like, I know what this is. I know how I looked in that video. It's not. No, I don't believe you. There are a couple of old ones that are like still fairly popular that I should redo just because they are actually really useful topics. I just handled it in a really bad way. Like, I did a video a very long time ago about setting up multi-monitors on X11 and like how to like configure stuff with Xrender. The video is just me yapping for way too long, but the topic itself is really useful, and there weren't that many videos on it. I don't think there really are now anyway, because most people, when they set up monitors on Linux, they set it up through like what KDE has or what GNOME has. If you're doing it on a window manager, the information is just not really there. I know you're gonna say something.
I'll say anything. No,
I'm
good.
I should have just sat there and not said anything, just saw how long it would go for.
Yes, staring contest for an hour. That's the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be great content, and would not bother the audio listeners whatsoever.
True. This is on Spotify as well or something, right?
Yeah, I usually upload the video to Spotify as well because they have video support there, but most people on Spotify just listen to audio. That's the way that I do it. I'm not really a big video podcast guy. I do it with video just so I can show you things if I need to, but
yeah, like
I don't really like to sit down and watch a podcast. I don't really get people to do that.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Usually I'm like, I don't know, doing anything else.
You know, with Going Gremlin, it's technically like a podcast, but I have a lot of visual elements too, because like if we're talking about a certain topic, we'll just bring up actual images and put them on the scene and be like, look at this thing we're talking about.
Right. Yeah, no, that's the only reason to do it as a video. If someone wants to see it, and you're like, I want to show a thing, like it makes it easy to do it like that than like being limited in what you can actually do. But yeah, I don't know. It's like usually when I'm watching something or listening to something, I'm doing something else. I don't really like to just sit down unless I'm watching some like anime or a movie or something. I don't really like to just sit down and just watch a thing. I usually I don't know, how are you with like background noise? Do you like when you're like working on, I don't know, whatever, something, do you like to listen to music or like videos or anything in the background, or are you someone who likes it to be fairly quiet?
So a big part of like VTuber Twitch culture is like lurking and like putting someone on a tab and kind of having their audio in the background or a separate monitor or whatever. If I'm like working and I want to support like another VTuber, I probably just have them on a separate monitor. I am not someone that really listens to a lot of like lo-fi music when I'm working. I'm not really that type of person. I am more of a like a jungle drum and bass enjoyer. I used to listen to that all the goddamn time.
Hmm.
Like stuff you hear from like PS1 Ape Escape era of like drum and bass stuff.
Right.
Used to listen to that all the time. I used to actually put that on for some Pokemon Unite streams. It just kind of depends on the work. If I'm like video editing, no, I need my full attention to that.
Hmm.
If it's like I'm working on a doc, which I should probably work on my Linux challenge video at some point, or like my video version of the guide or whatever, I'll probably put on some music. It kind of depends if I need like my audio or visual needs for something, you know.
Right.
But like
Right.
sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It kind of depends.
Mm. Yeah, when I'm doing video editing, I'm pretty much. I try to be locked into the video editing. It doesn't usually happen. I usually get distracted. I'm like, ooh, I open a tab, and then I just get like I watch a video for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But when I'm actually trying to focus, I pretty much am not much in the way of doing audio. Usually, if I'm working on like thumbnails, I'll listen to stuff, or if I'm like, you know, I've got the videos uploaded, I'm doing like the description, title, all that stuff, I'll listen to stuff. But when I'm doing video notes, most of the time I'm not really listening to stuff. I don't know, I just find it too easy to get distracted. Sometimes I do music, and music, if it's music where I can just put it on the background, it's not something I'm like really paying attention to, it works. I can't really pick something where I need to have a playlist or like a big video that's just like a bunch of videos. If I put myself in a situation where I have to pick the next thing, I am going to get distracted. It 100% of the time is going to happen.
I mean, what I kind of do now for like some background noise when I'm like at work or whatever is I put on like speed run progression videos. I've been watching a lot of like Summoning Salt and Lunatic and stuff like that, and Cosmic as well, and that's been really fun looking at that. Like if I want like background noise, oh, your video is also an example of that as well. Where I just put on like a Brody video from time to time, and I'm just like, I've seen this like 10 times. I'll put on again because I don't know what to pick. You know. But yeah, I know that sometimes when I like am watching like a VTuber, so if it's a VTuber that I really like, I will like, you know, watch them fully and like chat with them or whatever. If especially if it's like one of my Oshis or whatever. But if it's a person that like is a little more low energy, then I'm just like, I want them kind of in the background. I kind of do that as well, you know. I have like my dependencies on like if I want to interact with the streamer or if I want to just like put them in the background or whatever.
What do you think about like those sort of co-working streams where people are just like working on a thing on their stream, like they're programming or doing art? They're not really interacting with the chat. It's sort of the idea of they're just streaming so people can like work together with them.
A lot of art streams do that. Some like artist VTubers do that. I know like Lena does that with programming. I haven't really done that. I know like I used to be a part of a big indie game dev scene. I kind of still am, but like not really as much because Vtubing. In like my local area where we all had like a co-working VC. I never joined there. I'm not really a big fan of like big VCs or whatever. I'm mostly into like my sort of smaller stuff. It's why I'm not in like other servers VCs. I'm usually in my own because I know the people there. But like, that's good for people who want to like work with someone else kind of like in this sort of parasocial way. But like for me, if I want to get stuff done, I'll get stuff done. You know, I'm not gonna be like, I need my lo-fi girl. I need this VTuber online. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of the weird things I see, like anytime I go to the lo-fi channel, is there's always a really active chat. I don't know who's sitting around commenting in the lo-fi girl chat. Like that seems so odd to me. And there's always some like weird random discussion going on. I don't get it myself. If you want to do it, hey, more power to you. Spend your time doing what you want to do. It's just, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I'll just have it in the background if I really want to listen to it, you know?
Sure, yeah. Like, I don't even need to see the tab. Like, I know, I've seen the visuals enough times. I can imagine what's happening in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know, I kind of feel like having that just open distracts me as well. Like, not like having the audio playing, but like being able to see it. I'm someone who really doesn't like having visual distractions going on. I tend to get distracted fairly easily. It's a problem that I need to address. I
have like ADHD or something.
Look, we've done the we've done another test before. Maybe I need to do an ADHD test as well. I'm sure the result's going to be like high probability.
Probably. Maybe get officially diagnosed too. I don't know.
It's not really much of a problem that I care to deal with anyway. So you know, even if I got an official diagnosis, I wouldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, I get that.
But I don't know. Do what you want to do, I guess. Work on what you want to work on. Focus on the things you want to focus on. If you have a system that works, hey, do that. If you have a system that doesn't work, if you like the system, I don't know, do what you want to do, I guess. At the end of the day, just do what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some people are a bit too focused on, like, hyper-optimizing things. There's
gricing, and I gotta get this debloated or whatever. It's like, I like debloating stuff. I'm not gonna, like, get rid of all my packages.
I kind of need to deal with my package situation, because my Arch install is, I reckon it's probably... You want to compare
Neo fetches right now? I can do that.
I reckon it's probably, like, 4 or so years old. And I used to do a lot more videos on testing software, and a lot of those packages I never removed. So I have 2,100 packages installed on Arch.
It's going to be even worse when 6.2 inevitably drops on Arch, because it's released now, right? Kitty 6.2?
I think it is out on Arch. Maybe.
No, it's on testing.
Oh, is it still in testing? Okay.
I think so. I think I checked it, like, last night?
I haven't updated in a week, so I...
Usually update once a week?
I usually update quicker. Yeah, okay, it's still 6.1.1.
Yeah, how I usually update, and I have a really weird method, is like, I don't update when I'm starting to use my PC, because it just works.
Right.
I usually update when I'm about to go to bed. So, like, the last thing I do, I go on my terminal, I type in yay-syu, updates my AUR stuff and my Arch packages, and then I go to my Discover app, update all my flat packs, and then shut down the PC. It will stuff break? That's for tomorrow's me to figure out, you know?
I
usually doesn't, though.
Kind of do it the other way around. I like to do things at the start of the day, so if something does break, I know about it immediately, and I can deal with it.
Usually, so I'm like a night worker, and when I wake up, it's around like 3:30 p.m., and I stream in like an hour to 30 minutes. I stream like 4 p.m. my time. So I don't want things to break. I want things to just work at the start.
Right.
Then, when I'm going off to like work, because I usually go to work right after I stream, or like I go to bed if it's like a day off, because today and tomorrow are my days off. That's why I wanted this episode to be today, because this is one of my days off at work. I usually update right before I go to bed. But I have a very strict amount of time that I am able to stream or just use my PC in general. So I just do that stuff last, because I don't want to worry about it. And so far, like, that's been a pretty solid system. Like, I update it often enough to where nothing breaks, because I don't update it so often. I also have not experienced any, like, manual intervention issues. Like, there hasn't been anything that, like... There has been... I did damage by this. Wayland stopped booting for a little bit. I had to switch to X11. Yeah, I told you about that.
Yeah.
In DMs, yeah. I had that for a little bit. Switched to X7 for a little bit, but like, the next day it just worked again. So, like, I don't know what happened. But I did not really have, like, a bunch of, like, I need to reinstall things or I need to do some manual intervention type stuff. I have a pretty solid system with how I do things.
Yeah, Arch is pretty good about the whole, like, manual intervention thing. People like to bring it up a lot more than it really is a problem. I've had, over my time using Arch, probably like 4 or 5 instances, and most of those have been somebody leaked a GPG key, or a key expired and they didn't check it, and then the Arch keyring was out of date, that had to be updated separately, and that's pretty much the only manual intervention I've had. Or there was a... Actually, this was especially more of a problem before the Python changes.
Yeah.
When you would install Python libraries through pip rather than through a pip virtual environment. So if you installed it through pip and then there's an Arch package that also has that same library, the package doesn't know what to do because pip has the library and also the package has the library. So I think Pac-Man was just like, I'm not going to do anything here, and there's like a manual command you have to run to override it. Now that a lot of things are done with virtual environments, it's not as much of an issue. You just kind of ignore the problem. I still have some legacy libraries that probably might cause an issue one day. But I think that's pretty much all the manual intervention. Maybe there was like one package that I had to remove first beforehand and then do something else. But yeah, Arch is pretty rock solid as long as you're not doing anything just really stupid.
Well, people also have this false impression that Arch Linux is a system that just throws anything to you and they don't test anything first. They have a testing branch for a reason. So why we're not getting 6.2 now. We're getting 6.2 when it's ready. Like they have a testing process. It's not like LFS where you're getting everything from the get. You know what I mean?
Well, even LFS, you don't get the latest thing anyway. Most things are fairly lagged behind.
Yeah. But my point is that like Arch Linux is not like super bleeding edge. It's cutting edge, but it's not like getting everything from the get, which people still think is the case. Like even like Kylo Neko, we've mentioned a bunch of times. So I mentioned me in his episode. I haven't seen it yet. He thinks that Arch Linux is just too unstable and blah blah blah. It's not really. Yes, you have to configure things when you install it. But Arch install usually does that now. And you can just do some extra package installs. Like Arch Linux does not come with Asian fonts. It doesn't have Chinese, Japanese characters. Yes. You have to install that separately. So I did, and it works. Like you have to have some stuff that are set up, but like the big reason why I use Arch instead of using like bar is that I can configure everything. I can have any package that I need and not any package I don't need. You know what I mean?
Well, even if you're unsure about a lot of things with Arch, like if you come across Japanese text and you're like, why is the Japanese text not rendering? You can just look up Arch Linux Japanese and the first result you have takes you to the Arch wiki and it's like, hey, you need to install a Japanese font. And that, like, it just, like, most of it's there if you're willing to do at least a little bit of searching and try to find the information.
Like, that kind of brings up to the topic that I think we should probably discuss today, is Vtubing on Linux. A lot of there are some VTubers on Linux, you know, me, Kylo Ren, Asahi, Papito, Basa, etc. What kind of differentiates me from other Linux VTubers is not only am I someone that runs, you know, Arch Linux and blah, 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 I also want to get people to try Arch Linux. I've gotten 2 people who have switched. One of them kind of doesn't really seem like they know what they're doing. Another one kind of knows what they're doing. And a lot of VTubers use Windows because it's the one that works the most out of the box. And they have this weird sense of like, well, I want things to work. I don't want to set things up. Not every distro is Arch Linux, right? You can use something like Pop! OS, Nobara, Mint, whatever, and get stuff working pretty fine. Vtubing is stupid simple. I'm going to break down how you VTube on this. Are you ready for this? All right, here's the setup. You install the Flatpak for Face Tracker. You turn it on, you put on VTube Studio. That's it! That's all you have to do. That's literally it. Like with 2D VTubing. 3D VTubing is a little bit different. If you have a live 2D model, just get the Flatpak of Face Track, which is a wrapper for OpenCFace. Turn on VTube Studio on your Steam, and you're good. You may need a reboot, because I remember when I used Face Tracker, it like was really buggy. I just rebooted it, and it just works fine. That's all you really need to do. It's stupid simple to like get VTubing to work. Now, if you're like someone who plays a lot of like, I don't know, Fortnite, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, Rainbow Six Siege, stuff that has like really weird anti-cheat, or if you are reliant on Adobe products, Linux is not for you.
Yeah.
if you're someone like me, and I think a lot of other VTubers as well, who plays a lot of single-player games, like I said before, I'm the character action RPG person. I play Kingdom Hearts, I play Devil May Cry, I play some horror games from time to time because it's October. If I'm just mainly playing single-player games, yeah, of course I'm gonna switch to Linux because like it works now for me. The Steam Deck has done wonders to get pretty much any single player, mind you, game working. Multiplayer is kind of a different story because like some don't have anti-cheat, some do have anti-cheat. Sparking Zero does not have anti-cheat, but you still can't matchmake or something?
I don't know what the deal with that is. I heard Kylo talking about it. I've seen people talking about it on ProtonDB as well. I don't know what's happening there. I wonder if there's a there's usually a bug report on ProtonGE about it. ProtonGE Sparking Zero. I wonder if anyone's reported something.
Yeah, I default to ProtonGE now instead of regular Proton because this works better.
I'm not seeing any report about it. Maybe it's working now? Maybe it was just issue off the start?
I do want to mention when I was
wait to see if
Kingdom
online
Hearts and every...
Yeah, it seems okay, no, it seems like there's still issues with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm gonna say my thing.
Oh, go on. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, yeah, okay. When I was playing Kingdom Hearts on stream, I think I told you this. There's a bit of a Wayland issue where because I use Wayland as much as possible because it's just the better one. Blah blah blah. You're the Wayland show. You know why? When I use Wayland and run Kingdom Hearts, it has a wine mono C++ error that, to my knowledge, still has not been solved yet. X11 fixes things for some reason. I don't know why. I'm hoping like, and this is not just a Kingdom Hearts 1.5 or 2.5 thing. This also happened with like Microsoft Flight Sim and some other games. Sometimes just crashes saying, "Hey, there's a C++ error." I don't know how to do that. It just does it, you know. But sometimes I have to switch to X11 because I am playing something like Kingdom Hearts or whatever. But if I'm just like playing, you know, any other game in existence, I just use Wayland and it just works great.
Yeah, that's so weird because I've never seen that like anything of that nature happening.
Well, you played 0.2 on stream with your Wayland setup. Does it work?
No issue. No issue at all.
Okay.
3's not having an issue either.
1.5 was 2.5 thing then.
Yeah, maybe 1.5, 2.5 has an issue. I've not heard anyone else report the problem, so I wonder if anyone's on ProtonDB. Kingdom Hearts 2.5 ProtonDB. It could just be something weird about your system. I don't know. I've certainly seen issues like this before.
Well, I don't think it's just my system because I've seen the same issue on other people's systems too with different games. I've tried like a bunch of Proton versions. I tried like ProtonGE. I tried regular Proton. Nothing doesn't really want to work.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anyone else report it, so I don't really know what's happening for you.
Yeah, I know I saw the issue on GitHub for a different issue.
Okay.
Or like a different game as well. So it's like, I don't know, maybe it's a race condition. I'm not entirely sure.
Right.
Like, back to my point is like, Vtubing and just using Linux in general for content creation is not as hard as people think it is. Like, sure, there is a learning curve, but like, you gotta learn stuff eventually. Like, people learn stuff every day.
Right.
Like, you gotta bite the bullet. You gotta see if it's for you or not. Like, if you want to stick to using Windows 10, or if you don't have any privacy concerns, I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you don't have any privacy concerns with like recall or whatever, sure.
I've got nothing to hide.
My mom fucking says that all the time, and I'm like, yes, you do!
I've got nothing to hide. I've got like, just replace that with I've got nothing to steal, so why should I lock my car? It's like, what? Or like, why should I lock my house? Like, it's such a I get why people say it, but there's like no thought going through your head when you say it.
Yeah. Like, I think anyone, even if you're not a VTuber, even just like a content creator, even just your regular user, you should try Linux. You should try it in a virtual machine, or, you know, get a separate hard drive and install it there, because dual booting is kind of picky on the same hard drive. Go install like Ubuntu. Even if it's not a great distro, it works, right? Or Mint or Pop! OS or whatever. Try it, see if you like it. And if it, like, 99% of your use case works, which it does with me. The only issue that I've had, Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer does not work on Linux because OpenKH, the mod manager, doesn't work. I know they're wanting to fix that with, like, Steam Deck stuff, but, like, it's the only thing I'm missing from Windows is KH2 randomizer. Everything, and foobar, but, like, I can just not do that. Everything else works. And so, like, yeah, of course I'm going to switch to Linux. Why not? No? Like, I think other people should have that, like, mentality of, like, I want to try new things instead of just relying on the same operating system. Like, they should go out and try new things, you know, instead of just, you know, into the Windows.
Yeah, I get why, especially creatives don't do it, just because of tooling that blocks them.
Yeah, if you're on Adobe, I can't convince you. You have to switch to, you have to stick to Windows.
Kinda, sorta get Creative Cloud working. Some people have done it, but there's no guarantee that it's gonna keep working. That's the big issue.
That reminds me, I remember when I was on Windows, I used to have a program called Figma. Figma balls. And Figma is like a UI program.
Yeah.
I use my scheduler for that. Like, if you look at some of my old... You're in my server. You can look at the schedules chat. If you look at my old schedules, they're made using Figma because it's like... I think I paid like a few bucks for the template, and I just used it, and it just works, right?
Right.
And I thought, okay, well, I don't really like the schedule I'm using now. I want to go for a different vibe. I want to use a PSD file for like a more custom template, because also my week is not Monday to Friday and Saturday, Sunday are my weekends. My week is Friday to Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursdays are my days off because I have a weird night shift schedule. So Friday to Tuesday is my stream schedule. Friday's my first day, Tuesday's my last day. So on a 5-day schedule, just put it on there. I don't like the weird like boxes that says text. I want to show the game art itself. I made a new schedule template. It was gonna be debuting that from my 1.5, which by the time this episode's out, I'm probably gonna be debuting 1.5, so I'm showing my background right now. When I switched to Linux, and I'm like, okay, I'll just use Figma for now. I'll, you know, whatever. Didn't work. Schedule, which it didn't work. It didn't work. And I was like, oh god, I have to learn GIMP. So it took me a day or two to like learn, how do I move an object? How do I like shift things? Thank God Canva works, because Canva I use for my thumbnails, and it's like, I prefer like drag and drop stuff, whereas like, if I used GIMP, it's not as intuitive to me, because I'm someone that if I want to move something, I just click it and drag it. With GIMP, you have to press M or Control M. If you want to scale something, you have to press Control S. If you want to crop something, you have to press Shift C. It's like, what? It hurt my brain.
I don't understand why they have it like this. I do not know. I cannot explain it to you. I will never understand it. I think I think GIMP started around the start of Photoshop 1. So like there's no reason, and Photoshop 1 had already built in a lot of this core like design logic anyway.
Outlines.
8 years after Photoshop, so probably by Photoshop 2 by then.
I can't even get like text outlines without having to do some convoluted method, and it's like
in GIMP 3
thumbnails.
In GIMP 3 they now have a text outline function.
Yo,
yeah, it's taken them
from putting a feature that should have been there at the start.
It should have been. You're right. They also have multi-layer tooling now, so you can now select multiple layers at the same time.
Good. I hate switching, like, if I want to move like 2 game days to like 2 separate game days, like Kingdom Hearts 2, I have like Monday and Tuesday. If I want to switch like Friday, Saturday for some reason, I have to manually select logo, drag it over. The game art, drag it over. If I can just, like you said, if it's multi-selected, that works for me. That's
You
great.
can just control click or shift click depending on how your layers are ordered and what works better, and just drag them. Like,
Good.
any sensible
Again,
tool.
a feature should have been implemented at the start.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this was 8 years after Photoshop came out. There was no... Like, some of the design choices they've made, I don't understand why they were ever made like that.
Yeah. I getcha. It's just most developers, like, are great, right? But they sometimes don't have design tendencies. You know what I mean? They just program something that works for them. Everyone else, fuck them. I'll just stick to what I use. It's the GNOME situation.
There is a...
Server-side decorations? What's that?
There is a really, really good article. The link to it is GNOME Bad.
GNOME Bad.
I'm probably gonna talk about this on a stream.
We've had Pro Bono say Wayland bad. Now we have this guy saying GNOME bad.
This one, the difference between
GNOME.
Pro Bono and this is actually really well written, and pretty much every point this guy brings up is completely valid about GNOME just being a mess to use.
Well, as a base GNOME hater, I appreciate this.
Like, from every single point it goes over, from the launch application, like when you first open it, the GNOME tour, it was like trying to like show you how GNOME works and how it's just completely broken and doesn't actually teach you anything. How, like, on a desktop with a system that does not have a touchscreen, it still gives you like touch controls in the tour. It goes deep into the whole like GNOME phone interface, the obsession with iOS style lists on everything, even though they just don't fit on a desktop. The giant black bar that takes up the entire top of your screen, but has 3 buttons in it.
Let me tell you something about.
Oh, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say also client-side decorations and how it leads to completely inconsistent application design and apps that don't make any sense and a bunch of other problems.
It's like they're allergic to server-side decorations or something, I swear.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was going to say was... Go on.
Sorry, just one more thing while we're here.
Yeah, you're good.
Do you ever double-click on the top of an application to full screen it?
Why? I don't think I do. No.
Okay. Well, you can do that. On GNOME, because they have the client-side decorations and the top bar is full of buttons, you have to work out where in the top bar is not a button if you actually want to use that function.
Oh, do you mean like maximizing a window?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. Okay.
Yeah. That can be...
KDE defaulted as like single click to open stuff, but they thankfully did to double click.
Oh, yeah.
So like... Yeah.
Well, that's because every downstream changed it to double click anyway. So they're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
All of the developers I've spoken to, they think that single click is better, but none of the users do.
It could be better, but like, I like sticking to what I know, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. What I was gonna say was, a weird thing about my workflow, and you made a video on this, the Libbad Weta situation. So, Face Tracker is an application that I use to, track my face.
Yep.
Name says itself when I'm using VTube Studio.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I would screen share this, but I will probably ruin the video. So like, take my word for it. So this uses Libbad Weta Face Tracker.
Mm.
If I move my cursor over to the window, it just makes the cursor bigger for some reason, and it changes the style of it.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that so much. Like, I want my consistency. That's why I don't like Libbad Weta.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely
Like, both Face Tracker, but also, another app that uses Libbad Weta is Stream Controller. So, there are 2. So, I use an Elgato Stream Deck for, like, a lot of my
that one.
setups and everything. I'm really hoping global shortcuts happen, because I don't want to have to, focus on my YouTube window to use my keyboard shortcuts. I want to use this, globally.
Mm-hmm.
But when I need to like set up my Stream Deck or add a new button, also uses libadwaita as well.
Mhm.
Stream controller works more. Boatswain does not. I tried Boatswain, it just doesn't work for me. So if you were to ever get a Stream Deck, Stream controller, it just works.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
But like even then, like, I don't like how libadwaita kind of ruins a lot of consistency for like my desktop, because like I'm someone that really likes, my Qt programs and everything just kind of works. And then GNOME is like, hey, we're gonna do things differently and fuck up your entire system.
Yep.
It's why I don't like GNOME. It's why I switched to KDE, because like they have their issues, yes, but they actually know what users want. They have consistency.
I wonder how well split up this application is. I wonder if I could sit down and make a Qt interface for this.
For what?
For Stream controller.
Oh my god, if you would do that, I would...
I don't know if they tie in a lot of the functionality into the UI. If they don't, it probably wouldn't be that difficult.
Let me look up something.
I'll have to examine the code to see how it's actually done, but... No, I completely agree.
I think it's on... I can send you the GitHub after the recording, but like,
yeah. At least looking... Like, just taking a brief look at it, I can't really tell, but...
Right.
Yeah. It's probably all tied together, which would be fun. Oh, wait, there's a folder called backend. Wait, take back everything I said. Hopefully the folder called backend actually includes the backend, and you don't have a bunch of stuff tied to the UI. If I ever get bored and want to write a Qt application, maybe we do that.
When was the last time you made, like, a software project?
Most of the things I do now are just things that I need. So it's like, I rewrote my bookmark script and things like that. I haven't sat down and done, like, a really big project in quite a while, though.
Mostly, like, config files, that type of stuff?
It's mostly just, like, random little scripts here and there that just, like, do things that I need done.
Like, the user scripts, not, like, programs.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I definitely would like to sit down and actually write a big project again at some point. I like programming. It's just I have other things I like doing as well. And
I know one thing I did want to mention was I will be doing programming streams. And I know I did a vote of like, what should I learn? And people said like web dev I should learn. I'll do that a little bit, but like my main thing that I really want to learn is Rust. Rust is just a cool ass language, and I'm so angry that people with the kernel just don't like it for some reason. It's like the old guard trying to protect their holy see or whatever. It's like, unironically, the future is now, old man. Basically,
it's very funny that you say the term holy see. Are you aware of what holy see is?
I know what holy see is.
Okay. Just
meant like their sacred sea, but I know what holy sea is.
Okay, just had to make sure you're aware of Temple OS.
Yeah, I know what Temple OS is.
Okay.
Like, sure, there's the meme of like, oh, haha, Rust rewrite and this and that. Sometimes it's necessary because Rust is actually really good. And I want to learn it. I want to see how it works. And I don't know, maybe I'll be the most obnoxious trans arch KDE Vtuber that uses Rust. All like the most hated stuff in tech, roll it into me.
I don't think KDE's on that list of most hated stuff. Got to become a GNOME user.
Everything else is.
Become a GNOME user first, and then you'll be good.
I would never switch to GNOME. You will not make me.
Ubuntu core GNOME user. Full snap desktop.
Oh, no. I hate that. Snaps are just blah,
Snap to the kernel.
Snap to the kernel.
No, that's actually what it is with Ubuntu core. The kernel is a snap. They have a separate boot process that launches snap at a lower level so they can run the kernel as a snap.
You want next a Flatpak kernel?
Look, this is one of the advantages of Flatpak not being great for non-graphical applications. Nobody has thought to do that. Now, don't tempt them because someone will try.
I mean, if someone could boot Arch off of a Google Drive.
Yes, that did happen. Yes. Well, there's a guy who wrote a Linux kernel loader in Scratch, so.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, Scratch. I didn't really use it, but I know people use it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of Sonic fan games are on there.
That doesn't surprise me, actually. Scratch is really easy to learn. I every time I look at it, I'm sure if I actually sat down and learned the language, it would be easy. But because I've never actually done a drag and drop language, it seems even more complex to me than any other regular language.
Yeah.
Like, I can look at C code, and even if I don't know the language, like, the structure makes sense to me.
Yeah. Back to Rust, I'm really hoping that the kernel people actually talk with the Rust people and not stereotype them or whatever. Because, like, I don't know, maybe I'll dabble into that if I learn Rust, because I can do that. But, like, Rust is great. I don't like people saying that, like, oh, haha, Rust rewrite, that's their entire personality, when the people who are using C in the kernel are doing the same thing, but unironically, where it's like, well, C works, so fuck you, haha. It's like, try other things. It's the exact same situation I have with the fucking Vtuber thing. People need to try new things and not get hung up by their old ways, basically.
Well, what you have is C developers who've made their entire career being a C developer, and some of them have been in the kernel for like 30 years. So, I get it, right? And engineers are very, very particular about the tools they use.
Yeah.
But there are these subsystems that have a lot of young developers in them that are a lot more open to accepting. Like, in the graphic subsystem has a ton of Rust people. But a lot of other things, it's going to take a lot of time. And this was going to happen, like, this is not a Rust thing. This was going to happen with any language. If they tried to bring in C++, which did happen at one point, Linus shut it down very quickly, the exact same thing would have happened. If they try in the future to do Zig, the exact same thing's going to happen. People are going to push back against any major architectural changes.
Just any changes in general that, like, disrupt, like, their workflow, you know? Unless you're Bcachefs and you're doing it wrong.
Well, he's trying to disrupt everyone else's workflow. That's the problem.
Exactly.
No one else is on his side. He's like, I'm going to do my thing. You're all going to listen to me. Like, no. No, we're not, actually.
He talks about, like, mutual respect, and yet he showed he has no respect for Linus, you know?
Yeah. Well, what he wants is mutual respect, but it's people respect him. Like, he's not going to... He will only respect you once you start respecting him, but he doesn't understand that, like, you need to both approach the table to make this happen. Like, why would anyone come to the table to respect you if you aren't gonna give them respect from the start? And this is not like a... It would be one thing if this was, like, the first time occurrence and Linus was like, oh, angry. But, like, he's done this for years and years at this point, even before being mainlined. And I don't know. I don't see anything changing.
I shouldn't have think that Bcachefs should have been mainlined in the first place, given that, you know, one guy wasn't Kent, I think his name is, had a lot of, like, reputation beforehand. Like, he wasn't good to work with before. So, like, I kind of understand what Linus is thinking with, like, maybe mainline this would have helped the workflow, but it clearly hasn't worked. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Bcachefs just kind of gone.
Yeah.
The next, like, month or so.
I don't know. If it does get removed, that would be great content.
I would watch that day one.
Because I'm sure he's going to release I'm sure Kent would release a blog post about it, ranting about it being removed as well.
Then he'll make his own kernel.
Well, what he's probably going to do is...
D guy is going to, like, make his own kernel because he's trying to do something with, like, sudo.
What would probably end up happening, he's probably going to go around to different distros and trying to get it, like, mainlined in their kernel, but a lot of distros aren't running massive submodules that are, like, in their, like, original, like their core kernel. Like Arch is a fairly clean kernel. It has a couple of patches. Fedora has a really clean kernel. Ubuntu has probably the most changes, but even so, I really doubt they would ship some random experimental file system that got booted out of the kernel. Like that just doesn't seem to align with what I know from this space.
Potentially CachyOS may do that because they have their own kernel.
Sorry?
Potentially CachyOS. You know about CachyOS? CachyOS has his own kernel. Maybe he'd approach them, but
Maybe.
like, I don't know. CachyOS is kind of niche, and like, I cannot stop hearing Kylo talk about CachyOS, and I'm like, I don't want to switch to that. Stop talking about that. And he's like, but you gotta. It's cool. And I'm like, no, stop.
Oh, right. The the Arch-based one. Yeah, I do remember hearing about this one.
The one that supposedly has like fixes to gaming or whatever. It's like, I'm fine with what I want. Like, I was thinking about switching to the CachyOS kernel to see what it's like. How you do that is you don't just install the CachyOS kernel and everything else is working. You basically have to convert your entire Arch install to a CachyOS install. And I don't want to do that because I like Arch too much. I don't want to switch needlessly, you know? If it works for me and it works for my workflow, I'm gonna fucking take it. I'm just gonna switch because, like, oh, this could have 1 FPS increase. Okay, and
CachyOS features the optimized Linux CachyOS kernel utilizing the advanced Bohr scheduler for unparalleled performance. I don't like anyone who includes stuff like this. If you're gonna say things like performance, please include some sort of actual benchmark or metric I can look at. Even if it's like, you know, those fake marketing graphs you see from NVIDIA and AMD, where it's like 50% more performance, 300% more performance. At least that's something more. Like, that's some level of effort over just saying, it's fast. Believe me, it's fast.
Yeah. I get that.
And if you haven't done those benchmarks, why are you claiming it's fast? You don't actually know.
Yeah. And, like, only one person's really even talking about it. Some YouTuber named AirMax or something.
Yeah.
Only one I've seen talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, no, I have seen his channel. Yes, I do know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know, broke be like, make a NixOS people. Bespoke people be like, make a CachyOS video.
Ooh. Oh, no, I thought it was a DistroTube video. No, it was an eBuzz Central video. Oh, no, DistroTube did do a video a year ago about it. I doubt he looked, like, deep into it, because when he was doing distro review stuff, it was very much, like...
level.
Very, yeah. That's why I really
like
like
that's
doing.
why I like the Linux cast so much, because he actually does, like, long-term reviews of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Nix's video. It's great.
Yeah, that's why I don't really do distro review stuff, because there's not really much to be said about a whole distro. I would rather focus on individual pieces. Like, if I'm going to do a distro review, it's got to be on a distro that does something weird. Like, Gentoo with their source-based package management, or NixOS, or Vanilla OS.
Or OpenKylin.
Oh,
maybe on OpenKylin.
Yeah.
This is a weird thing. Why?
I don't know.
I getcha.
Yeah. Like, but even then, it's me focusing on the tech rather than the distro itself. Because, like, the distro is really just it's just a convenient grouping of individual tools. A lot of those tools can be used outside of that distro context. Like, the desktop, obviously, whether that's like KDE, GNOME, things like that. Even if it's a heavily customized version of KDE or GNOME, those extensions are probably open source, and you can probably install them on another distro and get the exact same experience. Like, Ubuntu GNOME is just GNOME with some GNOME extensions, and all the extensions are out there, and you can have the exact same setup on Arch Linux or Fedora or anything else.
The big difference between a lot of distros, like the big three, Debian, Fedora, and Arch, is like, how fast do you want updates?
Right,
And
right.
what's your preferred package manager? If you want just no updates, I don't want to worry about it, you go Debian. If you're like, well, I kind of want some updates here and there, but like not too much, you go Fedora. If you're a crazy person like me and you were like, I want all the updates, you can do Arch. I like my updates. I want everything to be up to date. I like things. I don't want to have a thought of this program isn't working because it is out of date. I want the latest version immediately, you know. So besides getting it from the get or whatever.
Actually, it's funny you bring up the whole idea of like Arch being up to date, because there actually was a period where Arch was incredibly out of date. I think it was like 2 years ago at this point. It's been a while ago now. Where there was some issues with getting GCC updated, where I think it was like 6 months out of date. I think by that point, Ubuntu was actually on a newer version of GCC.
Jesus Christ.
It doesn't happen often, but there are these weird edge cases where Arch does fall behind, but most of the time, you're pretty much gonna be good.
Yeah, it's mostly up to date on like the important stuff, basically.
Like Plasma 6.2 will probably be out within like maybe... I would be surprised if it wasn't out by the end of the week.
And when it comes, I'm getting it. There's a lot of do you know what like changes they have to 6.2? Have you looked into it?
I haven't. Nothing. I know that like yeah, Nick's done a video on it, so
yeah.
I've not looked into it deeply. The only thing that's really stood out to me is SVG cursors.
Yep.
And I've got a video coming out on that very soon.
Branding.
Here we go. OMG Ubuntu. What does OMG Ubuntu have to say about it? What is new? Power management, don't care. Minor visual changes, don't care. Color. Oh, if you do any HDR and color management stuff, that's going to be enabled by default now.
I don't have HDR monitors. I do have nightlight, which is kind of buggy sometimes.
Oh yeah, the is it the cursor issue, or is that an issue that Kylo had?
Cursor issue? What?
Where the cursor didn't get colored.
Oh, that was me.
Oh, it was you? Okay, yeah.
It was on Wayland. In fact, I'm seeing it right now. Like my cursor is like not nightlight, but everything else nightlight. Did they fix that in 6.2?
I don't see any mention of it, but it seems like this is a fairly... Does it even mention SVG cursors? No, this article doesn't even mention SVG cursors. It seems like a fairly boring update, to be fair. Which is what 6.2 should be.
Fixes. Yeah. Seems a lot of quality of life fixes. If they fix that cursor issue on Wayland, I'll be set.
Yeah, if you want to have a look through the raw change log list, you can go ahead and do so, but I doubt that's going to be fixed. Was there ever a bug report for it?
Report for the cursor thing?
Yeah.
I haven't made one yet. I'll make one eventually.
Well, yeah, if
it's not
there.
Breaking my system, but like it is a little important, but like it's not too important. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
My cursor is blue instead of orange. Like, it's not like my game don't work.
Right. The only reason I don't do the nightlight stuff now is I tend to update, or I tend to make my thumbnails at night, so I kind of need my colors to look right while I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Like
nightlight because... Go on.
Oh, go on.
I like nightlight because I usually use like my computer a little later on at night, especially on like the weekends or whatever. When I'm like doing my streams, it's not on usually, but like when I go to work, I usually have it off anyway. But when I'm like tonight or tomorrow, like when I'm off work, I like to be late at night on the computer or whatever, and like I don't want the blue light blinding me. Same thing with like my phone as well. Like phone nightlight is great, but I do see like if I want to get some work done and like some color stuff, then yeah, I could probably turn off. But like I usually do very minimal editing when it comes to like my thumbnails and my schedule and like anything that requires me, doing any sort of editing,
Mhm.
video editing as well. I don't really worry about like color correction. Just kind of put shit together, just see what happens.
Sure, sure.
And I usually am fine with nightlight, but like if I ever get more serious about video editing, if I install DaVinci, I may worry about that. But like I don't know.
Well,
It's
I'm
like
usually
nightlight because it's good.
I'm usually doing my thumbnails while I'm like half paying attention to anime in the background as well.
I need to watch some anime. Oh, we were gonna talk about fucking Ongen Midnight, weren't we?
Yeah, there's like 10 minutes left till the end of this. We can talk about it, or we can save it for your show.
We could save it for my show, actually. That'll probably be better because I know I want to talk about anime stuff with you. Was there any other topics you want to talk about?
I guess this is one short thing. It kind of just came out, the Alarmo thing.
Oh my god!
Did
you see my tweet about that?
I don't know anything about it. I just saw pictures of it and people talking about it. What the hell is this thing?
I want you to look at my tweet about
Okay,
this.
I'll look at your tweet.
There we go.
Here we go. Yes, there we go. Okay. Mobius 1 wake up. We have 20 miles coming at you right now.
No, that's not it. That's not
That's
it.
not it?
That's an Ace Combat joke. I don't think you play Ace Combat.
Uh
Send it to you in DMs.
okay. Here we. Oh, yep. So is it finally time to start the de-Amazon process with this?
Because I use Amazon Echo devices.
Ah.
I use an Echo Show on my bedroom. I use an Echo Dot in my shower. I know, the Linux privacy preserving person using Amazon devices. I know, it's bad. But like, I got it for free. I didn't pay for it. It was a gift.
Right.
I'll use it. But this probably doesn't listen in on you, so I may use this. Like, all I use for my Echo Show nowadays is just an alarm clock. So, like, might as well, But it does look really neat. I'm not really a big Nintendo person because something it's always morally correct. But this looks neat. It looks kind of cool. I'll probably get it. I don't know. It depends on what sort of feature. I know there's like a trailer I could probably watch sometime. I'll probably react to it on my own streams. But like, it looks cool, I guess.
Wait. What is this? Alarmo has a sensor that reacts to your movement, so you can snooze the alarm with gestures and end it by getting out of bed. That's actually kind of neat.
It's cool. Doesn't listen to me. I'll do whatever.
Yeah, it seems like it just has motion sensors. What a weird device. It kind of just came out of nowhere.
That reminds me that like every major console nowadays runs like FreeBSD or something.
The PlayStation it has a bunch of FreeBSD in it. I think the Switch has a bunch of FreeBSD in it. The Xbox is Windows.
Yeah, obviously.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Switch has a bunch of FreeBSD in it. I could
Just BSD in general.
FreeBSD. Yeah, because it's based on the 3DS OS,
Yes.
which is also FreeBSD, or some FreeBSD. It's not entirely FreeBSD, but
Yeah.
if you're building an OS for a system and there's already something open source and it has a license that you can just make proprietary, why not just use it?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, it's just crazy to think that a lot of like gaming companies use not Windows, but just like FOSS-based stuff. Like, some people don't realize that a lot of like proprietary projects are based on FOSS in some way or another.
I don't know if you can do this on the modern ones, but on the PS3, if you dig into the settings, there is an option to view all of the licenses that are used in the software, and there's a bunch of random shit in there.
Yeah, you can do it on PS3.
Okay. Yeah.
I've done that one time, and I was like, "What is all of this?"
I don't know about PS4 and PS5, but PS3 definitely has that there. I'm sure they're there somewhere, or maybe it's like listed on the website.
I'm sure there is as well. Like, I have my PS5 sitting next to me. I could check it out, but like, it's probably there somewhere.
But you'll see
I
things
know
like
that, like
code licensed under the Beerware license, which is a very fun license. The
I know about
clause is
that.
the clause is basically if you ever see me, you buy me a beer.
Yeah, it's like if you like my software, you can buy me a beer or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is a neat license. I wouldn't use it for like any important stuff, but like, you know, it is there.
I think technically it's not open source because of it. It's a meme license.
Yeah.
But there's stuff under like GPL v2. There's a lot of MIT stuff, a lot of BSD stuff, and every license you could imagine.
I know Vim uses like some sort of separate license where it's like if you like my stuff, support like a Ugandan charity or something.
Yeah. The guy who made Vim, he never wanted to make money from it. So all of the money that goes into the project, I can't remember the name of the charity, but yeah, I think it might be a Ugandan charity.
Yeah, it was some charity that I really liked. Like I believe when he died, I think like there was some big donation from like his estate or something to the charity or something like that.
Yeah, it is. It is Uganda. What is the charity?
What's the full charity called?
I'm on their website right now, but their website's very slow. The ICCF Holland, I think is what it is.
Oh.
ICCF Holland? Yeah. The International Child Care Fund for Holland. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or of Holland, whatever. Yeah.
He's probably from Holland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just sends money to Uganda, and build. I think they build wells and stuff there. Look, great cause, basically. That I'm not sure on the full details, but my understanding is it's a great cause.
It's a decent license too. It's basically like, would Vim be sort of charityware?
Yes. It is one of the very few examples people bring up when they bring up the concept of charityware.
Yeah.
I don't even know of any good other examples of charityware. Oh, here we go. Fire FTP PZip. Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Oh, I use PZip. I use
another
PZip when I'm extracting 7-zip files.
Yep. Oh, yeah, there we go. It helps AIDS victims in Uganda. That's what they do.
Oh.
And it has been declared, the charityware license that Vim has been declared GPL compatible by Richard Stallman.
Nice.
Yeah.
I checked out Richard Stallman's website. You know that website is just a big block of text with a white background?
Let me see. Richard Stallman. I haven't been to it in a while. That does not...
It has,
that
like, no
would not
CSS.
surprise me at all, though. I see. Yes, no, it actually has... Oh, no, it has a little tiny bit of CSS. If you hover over links, there's a glow behind them.
That's it. It's as simple of design as you can get, but I kind of respect it because, you know, Stallman's very much, you know, the free software absolutist, so, like, it kind of makes sense.
Wait.
As much as you disagree on Rich Stallman about some stuff, I do respect the guy.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
That and Linus too, but I, you know, like Linus a lot.
Yeah, no, I think what Stallman has done, for the most part, has been fairly productive. I do think the FSF today is a shell of its former self and doesn't really do anything. It kind of just, like... Today, the FSF kind of just talks to the people that already agree with them. They don't really try to change anything in the world.
The big example of why FSF has kind of fallen off, I can just say 2 words: GNU boot. Just say that and you're like, I get you now.
Yeah,
I will say this before we end things off. I am really curious, since you're talking about emulation a little bit. Leah Road is gonna fork DuckStation?
Yeah,
I
haven't spoken fully with Leah about what she's doing there.
I update to that you can make a video on.
I need to check. Yeah, she mentioned it beforehand, like before it all happened to me in DMs in a okay. When Leah's one of these people who will just like send you 100 messages without you responding to a single one of them.
Yeah, people like that.
I'm not entirely. She talks a lot about Libre Boot. It's somewhere in here.
It makes sense. She's a Libre Boot dev.
Yeah, but like, again, posts a lot of messages about it. I'm not too sure what's happening. I know she forked it and wants to provide them infrastructure so they can work on it. But I don't know if that's actually going to go anywhere as a project.
I hope it does, because, like, you know, she's a trans dev, I'm a trans dev, I respect her in that way, but also, like, she talks a lot of shit, but if she wants to get stuff done, she gets stuff done, basically.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching the Libre Boot video about her using Canoe Boot, and she was, like, ranting, she's like, by the way, here's a patch!
There's a lot more there that happened in DMs that I'm not going to make public, but there's so much more to like what the rant that I could have included.
Yeah. Oh no, she can be a little much, but she's great.
Oh, definitely.
It's from what I've seen.
It's not just this is not just like posting 100 messages to me. Every single interaction that Leah has does this. Like, if you look at her IRC logs when she like jump into like the FSF chat, it's the exact same thing. It's like message. It just keeps going and no one's responding. They're like, "Are you let me just like get a word in here somewhere."
Yeah, as soon as I get my vt.social account, I'm waiting for approval on from Lena. I'm gonna follow her. I'm gonna follow a bunch of people on Fediverse. I'm gonna use the Fediverse because like I really want to use it, but like I don't have an account.
Right.
And I want VT social. I have my old, like, civilian is, like, my non-VTuber identity. So my civilian account, I don't want to use that publicly. I want to use my Veni one.
Well,
so whenever Lena checks and it approves it, it's been, like, a month. I'll use it.
What you could do is make an account on another instance and then transfer the account over when you get access to the VT social one.
I could do that. Like, I could probably use, like, Mastodon or something. I don't know. What do you use for Fediverse? Do you use Mastodon?
I'm on Mastodon.social right now. I haven't found anywhere else that
you know, you use, like, Linux.rocks or
yeah, I was on
something
Linux Rocks before, yeah. And they had a bunch of drama there. So I ended up moving off.
Yeah. I want to use Fediverse. It's just people were using Blue Sky and it's kind of fucky, and I had a draft tweet that I may tweet sometime where it's just like, Blue Sky is just diet Fediverse.
Yeah.
It's for people who hate Twitter, who don't want to switch to the better Twitter, which is Fediverse, and just want like a weird in-between, basically. I have an account there, just to be safe, you know?
Yeah, like, I made an account there like ages
Fediverse.
back. I just haven't used it. Maybe I made one post.
I think I made one post too, and I just have not used it since.
It's just there in case, on the off chance it does take off, like, it's there. I might use it.
I'm here.
But we've passed the 2-hour mark now, so let people know where they can find you.
Yeah. I stream on Twitch Friday to Tuesday at 4 to 7:30 PST. My Twitch is twitch.tv/VeniTuber. That is VENITUBER, one word, no underscores. I'm also on Twitter, and I have a Discord server too, which is on my link tree. You can post my link tree somewhere. Yeah, that's where you can find me. And this will probably be way past upload date, but you're gonna be on my show this Friday. It's gonna be great.
That is going to be the case. Yes. We'll see how that goes.
We'll probably a lot more unhinged than this episode. This got a little unhinged, but Owen Gremlin is going to be really unhinged.
That sounds like a lot of fun. That definitely sounds a lot of fun. We can then talk about Wonga Midnight as well.
Wonga Midnight, I'll convince you. We'll talk about VTubers.
Mhm.
I want you to show off your anime figure collection during that stream.
I can certainly try. We'll see what we'll see what I can do. Is that all you want to mention?
Yeah, I would mention my 1.5, but like that's probably gonna be already debuted by the time this episode's out. So like, I like Kingdom Hearts and Linux. Follow me.
Kingdom Hearts is cool. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 4 will be out one day, and that'll be nice.
Link 2. Let's hope.
Yeah. Anyway, my stuff, my main channel is Brody Robertson. I do Linux videos there 6-ish days a week. I've got the gaming channel, Brody on Games. I stream on Twitch and YouTube. There is a Brody Robertson Reacts where I upload stream clips to, if you want to see bullshit.
I'm in some of them.
Yeah, you're in some of them.
The chat.
And if you're listening to the audio version, you can find the video version on YouTube at Tech Over Tea. If you want to find the audio version, there is an RSS feed. It's going to be on all the podcast platforms. It's on Spotify. The video's on Spotify, usually in case unless something breaks. Yeah, I'll give you the final word. What do you want to say? How do you want to sign us off?
I use Arch, by the way, trans rights, and Big ZD best.